What we have to do is look at our paradigm of success. And our paradigm of success has been based on what? It has been based on entrepreneurship. It has been based on the establishment of businesses by people who are willing to take the risk and have the courage to take the initiative, to see a need in their community and build a business to meet that need. It has come about because we have been able to develop a system where ordinary folks with good ideas will wend their way through the system to find the capital that they need, to invest in that business and build it up so it can provide jobs for their neighbors and for their community. That is who we are. And that system of economic liberty, of entrepreneurship and initiative, it is that system of economic organization which respects the potential of each individual, which respects the potential of the people, not just the power of the government. It is that system that triumphed over communism and triumphed over socialism and stands today still as the greatest beacon light of material hope for every people on the face of the earth. But here's what I'd like you to think about. What does it take to make that system work? Oh, I know we concentrate on the money and the investment and all, and this is true. But when are we going to, though, sit down and remember? Let's see. We have a system that is based on initiative and risk-taking. What does it require to be somebody who's going to stand forward and reach for an opportunity others don't see? Stand forward and follow a vision that's clear in your head, but that others don't quite get yet because you haven't helped to make them see it in the world. You know what it takes? It takes courage. Now, when I go back through all the books that talk about philosophy and morality and ethics, do you know what they call courage? They call it a virtue. That is to say, a moral element of human character. That's what they call it. So it turns out that without this moral element of human character, our system wouldn't work. That's interesting, isn't it? Because it means that one of the key elements of our material success is the existence in our people of this moral virtue. Take it away, and we will fail. I remember once talking to a businessman who was coming through the country. As it turned out, as I recall, I think he was from Kenya. And he had been he had been a participant in a program where we bring over people and they go around the country talking to folks in our different cities about how they do business and what's involved and so forth. I was assistant secretary for international organizations at the time, and when such visitors were leaving the country, they would come to the State Department and they would sit down with high-level officials and we'd chat with them about their impressions and so forth and so on. And I asked him what it was that struck him most as he was going around the country about Americans. And he said what really had struck him forcibly about American business people, particularly the small business people and the independent folks and the entrepreneurs, was how hard they work. He said he just couldn't believe how much of their lives they devote to making sure that business is going to be a success, how they'll work 16 and 18 and 20 hours, how they'll go without sleep, and at the end of the day still not be guaranteed success by anybody, but they'll give their all. You know what that means? That means that you get up in the morning and you really wish you could go back to sleep, but you get up anyway. You come to evening and you want to go see that movie, but you keep working anyway. It means that your bowels are yearning for a few more hours with your family and you'd really want to go home right now, but you will go to dinner and meet that potential client and you'll sit there through it all because you know you've got to get that job done anyway. You'll sit up late at night going through the figures. You'll get up early in the morning to make sure that the store is open and that the employees are ready. You'll take the risks. You'll bear the burden. And you'll put aside all those things that might make life more pleasurable. What do we call it when people have that kind of discipline? We call it self-discipline. We call it moderation. We call it a sense of responsibility. We call it virtue. And that, too, is a moral characteristic. So it turns out that when we start to examine what it takes to make our businesses work, it takes a special kind of moral character. And without it, we would not have achieved success. And let's be clear that businesses, as all of you know, are also about one other important ingredient, aren't they? Because you've got to have, at the end of the day, not just an idea in your head that looks good. You've got to be able to communicate that idea to others. You've got to be able to work it out so that somebody who doesn't get the benefit yet will trust you and work with you until that benefit becomes clear. And you'll sit down and you'll work out the details. I'll contribute this, you contribute that, and if we all work together, at the end of the day, we're going to see a great outcome, and we're all going to share in the result. But if I've told you I'm going to contribute X and you're going to contribute Y, when we get right down to it, what is business based on? It's based on our belief that we'll keep our word. It is based on trust. It is based on the confidence that comes from knowing that you work with people who have some integrity. Isn't that true? Well, last time I looked, trustworthiness, honesty, that commitment to keep your word, that's a moral virtue. And people who go about our society thinking, oh, no, there's economics and then there's morality. Why are you always talking about morality? Apparently, they don't understand business. Apparently, they don't understand what it takes to keep the doors open, to keep the employees working. They don't understand what it takes to put out a quality product every day. They don't understand what it takes to keep faith with your clients. They don't understand what it takes to keep faith with a vision that is realized because you had the discipline, the persistence, the honesty, the integrity not to let that dream die. They don't understand what it takes. And I have come over the years, just like that visitor to our country, I've come over the years to have enormous, not just respect, y'all, but an enormous affection, an enormous love for the hard-working people, workers and leaders who make this country what it is economically. And I've also come to an understanding that we're also a good illustration of what that word economics is all about. As I recall last time I was here, I went through this, but I'll do it again. Because that word economics is fascinating. Oikos nomos, it's a Greek word originally. And the meaning, oikos, is what? Household or home. And nomos means the rules or regulations or conventions that govern the household. So in the literal sense, economics is about household management. It's about successfully making sure that your families are strong. Isn't that amazing? And then all of these people who say, well, Alan, you're always talking about how we need to respect the marriage-based family, how we need to do what's necessary so we'll maintain the moral discipline, to commit ourselves to the future, to raise our children up decently, to put aside our own gratification so we can educate them in the way that they should go. You're always talking about how we must instill in their hearts that faith in God that is the true foundation of self-respect. Why are you always talking about morality? Well, I'll tell you why. Because without that moral integrity, we can't have strong families. And without strong families, we will not have a strong economy. The family is the basis of our economic success. And here again, what are we looking at? We're looking at people who have the ability to make and keep their promise to the future. Okay? And to make it not with their lips only, but to look in themselves and know. If you are born with a special gift or talent, that's a gift from God. It's also a promise to that family that doesn't exist yet, to that community of which you are a part, to that nation that you are a part of, and to that future that you can help to build. Our gifts and our talents and our capabilities, they are, as it were, promises. I believe they're promises made by God through us to the future and for the betterment of humankind. And the question that's put to us in all that we are capable of doing is, will we submit to keep that promise? Will we be people of integrity?